Hey, this is Lance with Verivest, and today I have with me the team from EverTrust Capital. We have Aubrey and Jackson. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good. How
Doing
about
very
yourself?
well.
Cool. Well, why don't we start out and just get a little bit to know about, kind of how you guys ended up in real estate and forming your own firm, and I kind of like to get the origin story. So how did we get here?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll go ahead and start. Really it kind of started as a kid, not to be cliche, really had to focus on, kind of the wealth building, wealth creation, preservation as I started, getting older. I saw family just kind of struggle a lot with, finance and just really personal finance too. They didn't seem to have, the strategy for building that wealth and something to create for the future. So at an early age, knew I wanted to, take a role in some form of financial services. And as I got older, ended up going to school. I thought, college was definitely the answer for, building wealth. Quickly found out that, while I was looking at anesthesia, it wasn't going to provide me with the flexibility, the freedoms that I needed, things that I was really looking to do and be passionate about. And it's really when I found commercial real estate, started working with a couple of friends of mine that were brokers, kind of introduced me into the space. Really just reading every white paper I could, looking at, listening to every podcast, every news article, so on, just kind of building that educational bit. And, immediately when I graduated college, ended up at Marcus & Millichap. It's actually where I met Jackson. So began specializing in multifamily investment sales, complex equity underwritings and equity vehicles. Really just cutting our teeth at that time. And like I said, that's where Jackson and I had met. He was doing office and industrial investment sales, doing some leasing, some portfolio work. We started talking after hours pretty frequently. Really started diving in. I mean, it started going 3-4 o'clock in the morning. We were working out how to build out our own acquisitions platform. And, that really led into when we met Bruce Marshall down here in Dallas. Got introduced to him through a family friend. Bruce is a 40-year veteran, was with SVN International for a while, did a ton in sales, just about $1 billion in sales, did over 70 equity syndications throughout his career, and really kind of took us under his wing. I don't want to say show us the ropes. We learned the ropes at Marcus, but he really showed us the advanced side of acquisitions in itself, brokerage in itself, relationship management, and so forth. So, kind of to that point, we formed EverTrust Realty Advisors at that time, which Bruce is our broker of record to this day, holds that in Dallas. Have a couple of deals listed currently, and kind of got that first bit established. And then once that was there and we had an established platform, that's when we began putting together the EverTrust Capital platform, which is what it is today. Just sourcing, going through hundreds and hundreds of deals, and finally finding a couple that we were happy with, wanted to go after, and we were lucky enough to work with some very, very influential people in the DFW area, as well as Oklahoma City as we take down these first couple of deals and begin to really kind of scale that platform.
Yeah, the Marcus & Millichap, that seems to be a lot of alumni come out of there. A lot of phone call, a lot of dial-in, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. We learned very quickly how to dial the phone for one. And I mean, I think I underwrote so many deals, my eyes were bleeding by the end of it. And it was just a painful way to cut your teeth, but we learned a lot. The training program was phenomenal. They really do know how to show you how to broker. And that really allowed us to, kind of see the ins and outs of, all right, this is how you sell things. Mm-hmm. And at that time we started looking at, well, let's buy some things. We're younger guys. We really want to start building those equities. And we just started really expanding, like I said, that education, that knowledge base, and looking at, okay, how do we go out and partner and scale business? How do we go out and find, deals that are worthwhile doing, and really manage the operational flows, after you go and close them. So it's been quite a ride, but we're excited to be here today.
So with that said, I mean, as you guys have gone out on your own then, I mean, have you changed kind of how you source deals from your Marcus Millichap days, or do you have sort of, maybe just share a little bit, Jackson, about sort of, your acquisition strategy? I mean, how do you go out and bring deals in, and what's your process?
For sure, yeah, and I mean, really, kind of, you guys touched on it. I mean, we were making 250 calls every single week when we were at Marcus, and doing that, you really get to know your market. You really get to know the owners in that market, And you just start forming relationships and figure out that which deals are kind of, what you would like, and really when you're on the brokerage side, you're more so looking, where's that next sale going to come from and everything like that. But it's kind of a more targeted approach that I would say that we like to use. I mean, we go after a very select amount of deals, and we basically focus on Oklahoma and Texas are our main two markets, right in our backyard. I've spent some time in Oklahoma and Texas. I lived down in Houston for a while. And so, really knowing those markets is definitely key, and basically utilizing that EverTrust Realty Advisors platform as well, to basically just get as many owner contact information, underwrite as many deals as we can still. As well, when we were at Marcus, we kept up with those relationships on the brokerage side, and just because we do target deals that are listed on market, but we try to stick with the off-market deals as much as possible, just to really get the best value for our investors.
Mm-hmm. So with with the kind of Oklahoma City, I'm assuming DFW, Houston markets, maybe you can speak a little to them. I know they're close in proximity, all things being equal, but are there certain things about those markets in particular, outside of just being in your backyard, that you guys like about them?
For sure. Yeah. And really the main draw that we've seen, it's perfect example is basically just during the COVID is, both coastlines were really hit from the COVID a lot harder than we were. And, I think we're going to see, even more so people moving to the center of the country. And I feel like we've kind of seen that shift in, people are looking at their cost of affordability of living. Companies are looking at their affordability for leasing office space. And, we know people in the county commission's office, and we basically just, we've seen very positive things with companies coming in, looking for tax incentives and moving into these cities. And that kind of just points to kind of our direction is looking for those investment grade tenants, large tenants that, want to stay into a city for a long time. And if we can kind of get connected with some of those newer buildings and all of that, that kind of goes towards our strategy.
Mm-hmm. So, in terms of, your guys's, investment philosophy, what is that in general? How do you determine whether a deal's worth, putting an offer in or it's not? Do you have high level way of looking at that?
Yeah.
It's, really on, I'd say if you asked me that question a couple of months back prior to the COVID, it probably would be a slightly different answer than today. I think that holds true for a lot of the, some of the better CEOs that are around DFW, around Oklahoma, really nationwide, worldwide. This was a exogenous pandemic that came in. It wasn't really related to supply or anything like that. So I think everybody kind of had to get on the balls of their feet. Currently at the moment, it seems that, really core deals right down the fairway, investment grade tenants, long-term leases, absolute triple net deals, are really kind of still seeing a lot of favorable capital contribution to them. And that's really where we focused these first couple of deals that we're putting under contract right now. It's very easy when the world is in chaos to wrap an investor's head around, hey, this is, contractual rent payments. Like I said, it's a absolute triple net corporate guaranteed deal. It's not a ground up development. It's not very volatile. It's not a heavy value add. Now, granted, you're not going to see 25, 30% returns on those, but you are going to see, 12, 15%.
Yeah.
And it's a hedge inflation. And it's like I said, there's not any volatility. Now, looking forward at the philosophy, we're really looking at a diversified approach. We've got groups down here, especially in DFW, that they, like Jackson said, they're talking about some pretty interesting ground ups, some pretty interesting build to suits, especially looking at the office market moving forward. There's going to be a lot of very interesting value plays where I think we can really create some excess returns in that space. We're favorable toward multifamily, especially in DFW. We've been 150,000, 200,000 units undersupplied for since 2012, 2013 down here. We're looking at an apartment that I would consider almost a bond, if you will. It was, the rents are going up to 5,000, and it was built a year and a half ago and it's already stabilized. right smack dab in DFW. So, I mean, that just really kind of shows you the demand for housing. So, multifamily, especially core multifamily, we love core industrial, and just keeping a broad exposure, but at the same time, really taking a strategic and a tactical approach to how we're going to, begin our portfolio construction.
Yeah, very good. So, once you guys have acquired an asset and, do you have some, what are your strategies to sort of generate that value? I mean, even if it's a core asset, when you go in, how do you guys approach, creating that extra value and ensuring that, mitigating any risks that may occur? Do you got, certain strategies you could speak to of how you do that?
For sure. And I mean, really that kind of points to where our key strengths are as emerging managers. One of our values that we think we bring to the table is basically we want to come in and, really limit our fees as much as possible and stay as lean as possible on these deals. We want to basically hire out the best third party vendors, any kind of third party facilitation that makes it easier for our investors to track their reporting, track how they're doing on the property, and really stay basically up to date with how everything's going. That's staying real time is really everything right now, and that adds a huge value to our investors, and that's one of the main things we want to basically bring to the table, as well as basically keeping our fees as low as possible. Really just allows us to get into the market, really increase our assets under management as we grow, and we hope our investors grow with us.
I just want to add to that real quick. Don't let the lease specialist be so honest over there. I mean, we speak a little bit on the lease mods. He's very good.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the main things we want to target too is basically any kind of deal that there's a little bit of a lease fluctuation that we can go and target. Is there's a few deals that are basically a 15-year lease, and we can get better financing for our investors at 20 years. And if that's something that we can go out and do on the forefront and capitalize on that, as well as there's certain strategies on basically doing a blend and extend, extending out some of these guys that are these tenants that are investment grade tenants, very quality, and can still keep them below market rent, but it's a win for our investors, and we can exit in 4 years and everyone's profitable. Then it's great for everyone.
Yeah, that seems like that is where it happens. I mean, it's on the ability to sort of work with those tenants and structure something that's kind of ends up being win-win-win for everybody. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Cool. So I mean, in terms of like the you got the two of you, is there anyone else sort of on the team, the key players, and that kind of make the whole EverTrust thing go around?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think this is kind of a good time to just speak on as well the importance of the people that we brought around us. Like I said previously, we've been very blessed to work with just some very distinguished professionals, especially in DFW and Oklahoma City. Guys that have taken the time to, like Bruce, his partner Scott, while they're on the brokerage side, they're acting in a board of advisors role for us. Our attorney that was provided through Bruce has just been crucial in helping us, negotiate these contracts, work through the leases. And then you got the financing partners, which are, just a massive piece. We've been lucky enough to get to work with some pretty outstanding professionals over at Northmark. They've done a couple times now where we've had a few phone calls, and it's the financing options that are available and the equity structures that they discuss, some of the tax structures that they discuss. I mean, just kind of touching on that value add play. It's when we look at what they can do with the waterfall model, it's impressive. They bring up things that, only a 40-year veteran is going to know, but, even bringing it up to other 40-year veterans are like, wait, you can do that? It's like, yeah, they're pretty good. So, it's really just those individuals around that we've been just lucky enough to get to work with and help us get across the line, as well as, anybody that we're performing any of these joint ventures with. We're looking to structure programmatic relations moving forward. A lot of those guys that can come in, sign off on, a big loan carve out, or, kind of get behind us on some of that co-general partner equity, but still really give us the reins to run the deal, because that's what we want to do. We want it to be, us running the deal. It's our business, but we definitely look to them for expert advice, guidance, support that you can't just go find. A lot. Bruce said that once. He said, you guys are lucky. Not a lot of people get to work with these guys even in their lifetime, and so we're very lucky, very blessed to have those in our lives. And I think we're going to do some really great things, some really unique projects, specifically some ground up stuff with some of these architectural firms out here. They've got some pretty fantastic pipelines. So we're excited for what the future looks like.
That's great. Well, cool. It was good catching up with you guys. And you have a great day. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks so much.